here we are, man. We're back at our roundtable at Inventa Studios.
We're back.
We're back, man. We're back. Oh, man. Things are crazy. We're sitting here in January 2026, and this world is evolving quickly. AI is taking over the world, and it has me and Joel questioning, where does human intelligence fit into the picture? And just like the world is evolving quickly, the currents of consciousness has evolved as well. And really what we're evolving into here in 2026 as the show progresses and evolves in this format where we open up our table to bring other conscious creators and their human brilliance to the table to really follow that current into meaning, mastery, and human evolution. And so it's been definitely quite a journey here, and just really excited to chop it up with you and continue to evolve our series, Joel. I think the world is looking for a little bit of HI in this AI world. So maybe if you want to kind of tee us up and offer your perspectives and tell us how you see human intelligence.
Yeah. In this AI world that, in technology, everybody's investing in AI right now. AI for profits. And that doesn't always, maybe equal later human intelligence. It's for profits and maybe not for HI. And so it's got us really thinking about how do we invest so much deeper into HI, human intelligence. And if you guys tuned into our 3 episodes of The Human Jelly, you got a taste of, this electrical light capacity that we possess as humans. And, the more I learn about human potential and, what we possess within us and what we can create, it really just expands my curiosity and my fascination for what it means to be human. Mm-hmm. And I think there's so many interesting components to what make up a intelligent being, a human. Yeah. And we got into gut health, we got into heart-brain coherence, we got into electromagnetic auras and energy fields and consciousness expansion. Sure. And
we didn't really get into much AI and how that plays into this human evolution picture.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And now it's, I've already got friends saying, oh, I can't wait to get the microchip or the Neuralink or upgrade myself with this or jab myself with this to have this upgraded DNA. And I'm like, whoa, that is like so wild. And to me, I'm like, I love how natural and pure and like the essence of God that lives within me.
The intelligent design, like
intelligent design. Yeah. Like that really is like standing out to me. And the more I've learned, through writing my book and going through that journey of the human jelly with you and trying to expand our understanding of the light capacity within us that runs through our fascia and that we can enhance and we can play this like, quantum game and at some level and interact with the fields that, are all around us. It's really like captured me, and it's taken me so deep into epigenetics, which is, with the right internal, with the right habits and lifestyle and inputs that we install into our life, that we can potentially upregulate and advance our genetic potential. And that might unlock, limitations that, we currently have. But really at the end of the day, like, what are the limits of humanity? And, if we had the best education and we had the best nutrients and habits and inputs in our life, what could we really tap into as human beings here?
Yeah, and I think like the way that I kind of look at that is it's the human intelligence, we're continuing to push the boundaries of human intelligence, and that's really like kind of how we thought about things and explain things and are trying to wrap our heads around things mostly in 2025, and taking that into 2026, we're evolving that framework because now the human intelligence evolution has potentially either a competing or a really collaborative force to help even expand it past, some of these biological, physiological components that you're talking about. And, it has the potential to be HI versus AI, which is kind of like a lot of where people's fear goes of, AI taking over HI, which is a very real fear.
Terminator, robots, AI,
whatever,
smarter than humans.
Exactly. But if we know what real HI is, which is a lot of what we talk about within the human jelly, then we can really understand how we can, manifest our highest human intelligent selves when we then pair AI into that without losing the HI, then we can really allow HI plus AI to bring out the best. But the problem that I think we both see, and even I can speak for myself, like sometimes getting into this, like, oh well, I have AI tools and I can do this. A lot of people have started to just outsource their brilliance to AI, and they're dulling their human intelligence at the expense of relying too much on AI. And so how do we play this, like, how do we balance this of how can we bring out our best, most human intelligent selves and not losing or outsourcing our brilliance to HI? How do we outsource everything but our brilliance to AI? And that can really help fuel the human evolution journey for each individual human, but also for the collective humans, that is, the world and humans today. So we don't lose our brilliance to AI.
Yeah.
I think that's like the fear. At least that's kind of how, we talked about it and how I kind of synthesized the landscape right now.
Yeah, I love how you framed it. And, being in talks with so many people, it's like people are fearful of AI. Mm-hmm. And then other people are using AI and they're creating so many, profound things that they've never created before. And then you have all these investors that are like, oh, what's your AI component? What's your AI component? Like, well, we're so invested into the HI brilliance of what we're creating and the human intelligence component. And how can we use AI to advance human intelligence? It's just such a fun framework. And to me, in the past 7 years, learning things that have maybe suppressed human intelligence, has really helped me understand, okay, how can we look at this and think about how to avoid some of the human suppression components so that we don't get corrupted by AI, and how do we grow with AI? And so if we can continue to, there's no question AI is going to grow. There's trillions of dollars going into AI right now, infrastructure across the world, and they're quadrupling down on it here in the US. And so there's no question AI is going to grow. The question is, will HI grow?
Or how AI will grow, right?
Yeah.
Because HI will grow too.
True.
Or unless we start to outsource our brilliance too much, and then it could devolve.
Yeah.
And that's where AI can then take over. But if we're evolving as AI is evolving, then and we create the right separations to understand truly what makes us human and what are our differences from AI, then we can figure out how they play together without losing our identity.
And one example is, somebody sends you an email, or you got to create something. You can either start to write it yourself and put it into AI to polish it, or, hey, AI, write me this, and then you don't even have to think. Yeah. And if that becomes your habit every day, you start to lose that muscle of actually writing and creating on your own, which if you pair that creation, brilliance capacity with AI, long term, that's going to create a higher level of brilliance than just relying on AI to create everything for you. And it slowly suppresses and kills those muscles and those pathways that we need to continue to work on and expand.
And make sure that we're not dulling those pathways and that we are investing into HI, which both of us are passionate about. Obviously, Linksy, our live social tech app, is designed intentionally to bring people back into real life and to really help them, have the tools to do, to discover real in-person social communities. Because in this AI age, even things online, who knows what's real and what's fake, but what we know is real is in-person human interaction. Yeah. And so what we're trying to bring to the world is a way to give people the tools to get into real life and to connect deeply. And so that's something that we're both passionate about. Obviously, we're each investing in our own human intelligence by, the habits and the way that, we live our lives so that we don't, rely too much on, external things, and we understand the brilliance that we have within us. Because I know you and I both share this belief that every human in the world does have brilliance.
For sure.
And if they can do the right things to bring out their best human intelligence, their brilliance shines.
Yeah.
Maybe that ties to that inner light that we have, and that is our unique brilliance.
Yeah, and if you see the world from this lens, of we're intelligently designed beings, you're going to look at your neighbor as somebody that, man, maybe I should talk to my neighbor, even though he's on the opposite spectrum politically or religious wise or whatever. He had this. If you look at individuals and understand that we all have brilliance within us, it opens up your mind and your heart to like want to connect more. And, connection is key in all of this. Like right now, leaving 2025, one of my big, journal entries that I kept seeing from, experts talking about the psychology of, what people were going through is people were like really disconnected from meaning. It kept coming up and I kept journaling around it, like this disconnection from meaning. People want to feel something. People want to experience. But in this digital age, now perpetuated with AI, it's people are getting their, pleasures from technologies, maybe more than they are getting them from social interaction and through the challenge of, pushing their body and mind to new limits, which isn't always fun, but it's, to me, it's what we need to continue to do and not get too comfortable into consumerism in this world where things are being laid out for us. And if we find too much comfort or consumerism, or we get too addicted to these technology screens and we lose these in-person capabilities and connection, we're really going to lose the brilliance of what it means to be human. Or lose some capacity of it at least.
Yeah, and I guess like as you talk there, I think like trying to decipher like, okay, now what does it mean to be human in past that? It's like, what makes it different? It's like we have the real feelings, like the connection, the love, like all of the things that you talked about there.
Emotion.
It's feeling. It's like the real feeling, and who knows where AI eventually can evolve into to like feel certain things. Like who knows what happens with Neuralink, but at least in this current day, like an age, it is a difference. Like there is a difference, and it's around that feeling. And if we can learn to have, I know you've talked about like interoception and the ability to like understand your feelings in your body, like internally, like that's something that is deeply human intelligence right there.
And as you increase your human intelligence and your internal awareness, you build a more expansive playbook and understanding of what's this intelligence that lives within. Somebody that doesn't work on any of these things, this human intelligence or understanding the capacity, the brilliance capacity within, I personally don't think they even understand it. Like I didn't before I started working on it. It didn't like open up my mind and my being to how brilliant we really are. Like it wasn't even a thought. And then once I started implementing habits and upregulating, certain things and developing things, and it started to like expand my awareness of how intelligent we really are. And I feel like I'm still at like such an early stage of my journey, because I've only been doing this for, maybe 5-6 years, but really deeper the last 2 years, as we've gotten into cold plunging and all the things. But you brought in something that is very important, like humans feel. Like what's the difference between AI and HI is, humans, we feel, emotion, we all experience it. We all experience it in different ways. Some people don't know how to experience it well, or they don't have emotion. They don't have a good emotional regulation.
System, chaos.
But really, like emotion is just energy and motion. We've got to like, as beings, we have the ability to use emotion or let emotion use us. And that's one big difference that we have from AI is it doesn't have so much of that within itself, not yet at least. And how do we expand ourselves to experience emotion, let it flow through us and understand it and observe it. And that's just one component of all this human intelligence that we can dive into. But
yeah, I'm just thinking about like almost like when humans get dysregulated, they like, I don't know, like they kind of like retreat, and maybe that is part of like when they are less likely to try to bring their brilliance out, or like they outsource it more. I don't know. It's a half-baked thought. I'm just trying to like put it all together because, yeah, I think the more that we, kind of continue to rely on AI and we're not like really regulating ourselves and these feelings and using them to fuel us and our human intelligence, we're starting to lose to AI, and then it can potentially be, in that worst case scenario, like who knows how the next 10 years unfold. But I think that's why we're like so passionate about like investing in the things that really keep humans human. Like I know like within Skylink Media, like what we're really passionate about there is to create amazing help creators tell their story, and that story is authentic, like their authentic story, and like bringing people into that, like what it is to be human, what that founder or creator has done to like create in this world. And I think that there's something like deeply human within that too, and people will be able to, like, I think, what was the thing that you said, like Elon Musk said?
Yeah, like 85 to 90% of jobs in the next 10 years will be taken over by AI. And
which is crazy. And I think, like, as I'm thinking about that, it's like, well, there's something that we will still feel and will want to experience as humans. And if you can find a way to like allow other humans to feel and experience what it means to be human, like that's something that AI, at least I can't foresee being able to like take over. And so if you can make people feel, and through stories, the power of storytelling, or the power of connection, and community, in-person community, like those are things that AI cannot breach, like, because that's innately human, right?
Human, yeah. And you touched on a few things there that, AI will be able to take over a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
But how you expand your brand through, like your media company that you're building, you're helping a lot of people expand their brand. Human connection, like the social component, the emotional component, the brilliant creator component, those things aren't going to be replaced by AI.
Yeah.
And you really start to have to think, how am I going to tool myself to be able to expand my humanness in this world of technology and AI, so that I can use my brilliance to use that technology on the world and advance it in some way. And so I really think the framing that is at least important to me is, how do we expand this human brilliance, this human intelligence, this human design that we possess, not to be corrupted by AI in many different ways that it could be, but to advance ourselves so that we can use these technologies to make bigger impacts in the world.
Yeah.
Or build new companies that help other people expand their human brilliance.
Right. Because the way that AI has been like presented to humans, it's like almost AI versus HI.
For sure.
Which is a fear narrative.
Oh, yeah.
And if now we just change the simple equation to HI plus AI, that's an evolution narrative now.
But this is where my conspiratorial hat pops on.
Okay.
And
please.
And if you look at over the past several decades, and you look at like things like the food pyramid, and you look at things that have been implemented and taught to us as human species,
right?
I think they know they can have a little bit more power over us if we're not as brilliant as our capacity holds. And so if they're able to suppress our brilliance ever so slightly with more toxins in the food and less nutrients, and maybe bad mental frameworks, or more fear, like fear has always been used through the history of time to corrupt the human mind and influence behavior. And so we as human beings, we don't have to worry about those things. And people are like, oh my gosh, we're going to go into conspiracy theories. No, that's not the goal here. The goal is to understand that there are things out there in this world that are corrupting and suppressing human potential.
So challenge the narrative.
Challenge the narrative and push yourself past these things and avoid things like sugar. If you eat a lot of sugar, or even a little bit of sugar, like what if you did no sugar for 30 days to see how brilliant your mind and how sharp you could become, and how well your body could heal and advance. And that's just one example of 100 examples. But if we can, do all these things to continue to advance our human intelligence, compared to slowly being suppressed by all the, different elements, we stand a beautiful chance of, leading AI in the right direction to serve humanity compared to being served. maybe by AI.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think challenge the narrative, invest in your own human intelligence. And we're not saying don't use AI. I use AI every day, multiple times a day. But I'm not outsourcing my brilliance to AI. That's the difference. And I think a lot of people are, and they've relied too heavily on it. So their brilliance is being dulled. And that brilliance could be dulled by over-reliance on AI or the things that you touched on, which are, following some of the narratives that maybe aren't actually serving our human intelligence.
Yeah. Like, how are you starting your day? Like, I think the most important part of everyone's day is, what are you doing in the first hour of your day? And I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're like, what do you do this, that, and the other for this part of the day? How many hours of your day are routine? And I was like, maybe like 6 hours. What about for like your health and your mindset and all these things? I'm like, probably like 2 hours. And, I talked about the first hour of my day. Like, I get up, I make coffee. I probably have coffee within the first hour, which isn't necessarily optimal. So that goes against what I'm saying here. But
we're not perfect.
Yeah.
We're humans after all.
Wake up, and the first thought isn't phone. The first thought is like, get up, get some movement, and like move, get my mind going. And then it's, man, I've got to get in this cold plunge. I've got to disconnect from comfort right away. And getting in the cold plunge or a cold shower. Some days it's cold shower because I have less time, and it's like disconnecting from comfort right away because I don't want to be a comfortable being. That's how I get taken over by AI. If I just live in comfort my whole life, I'm going to consume all the comforts. And so disconnect from comfort, and then it's movement, and then it's maybe red light or meditation, and then it's journaling. And like this morning alone, I journaled for like 45 minutes, and I got like 2 pages of notes of like, what am I, where my belief system is, and my curiosities, and some things for business, and my intentions for the day, touching with gratitude. And if you can like really set yourself in your morning for your intentions of who you are, the brilliant design human you are, you do prayer or some level of gratitude, and you like start your day that way, you're stepping, in my opinion, into your human intelligence framework. And then that like sets your day in that pathway compared to somebody else that might set themselves up into consumerism, scrolling, swiping, whatever right away. And then they're like, oh, let's get some carbs for breakfast. And for me, I might not eat for 8 hours to start my day. And, it all starts with that first hour is, what are my intentions? And I'm like setting it up for my human brilliance or human intelligence day. Some regards, it's not always perfect or well executed, but it's setting that intentions for the path and the direction that I want to go.
Yeah, I love it. And so each day you are intentionally designing your day to continue investing in your human intelligence and making sure that you're going internal. I think that was like a big thing that I took away from what you said is like so many people are going external and looking for the answers externally, but a lot of the answers are internal. And if you can, and we talked about this some on the Human Jelly episodes of like going internal, regulate your emotions, be able to get past the limbic emotional center of your brain into that prefrontal cortex, higher order thinking. But a lot of that starts with doing the inner work and making sure that that is your focus so that you can then present externally what you need to, or, absorb anything external that you need to, but that it starts here.
Yeah. And one of it's like the spiritual internal, the conscious internal of doing that. And the other part is like setting your gut up for success, and your internal gut up for success, gut, body, all of it. And, I didn't get into, what I consume in the morning besides, coffee, but before I even get my first cup of coffee around about an hour in, it's water, salt, lemon. I'm setting my gut up to be as intelligent as it can be, because like in Eastern medicine, it's called our second brain, hara. And so it's, everything that we do, are we advancing the intelligence of our being, our gut, our mindset, our heart, or are we just like living and it's potentially getting corrupted by the external world?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I guess like as we kind of consolidate and think about this moving forward, really this is our last episode of the Currents of Consciousness that we are the only creators at this table. We really now will be opening up the table, and we can kind of talk about how we're designing the roundtable and format here for the Currents of Consciousness past this episode, where we will choose 3 words, where these conscious creators that we bring to the table will have expertise, curiosity, and their human brilliance in those areas. And so we'll open up this table and go down that current with each one of those words, right?
Yeah, creators, experts.
And follow that consciousness so that we can, what we did with the human jelly was really about understanding what we are and, this kind of like electrical light being and this framework of what humans are. And now we're teeing up, human intelligence in this world of artificial intelligence. And now moving forward, we want to open up this table to follow our currents of consciousness on those 3 words with other creators and let that, conscious evolution and human intelligence emerge together.
Yeah.
And that's
because since we produced the human jelly, we've had a lot of people say, wow, I would love to come in and talk about mindset or quantum physics.
Community.
And we're like, man, we could use help in the quantum physics entanglement world.
Especially Joel.
Yeah, if you captured that episode. But yeah, we have people that, are experts in gut, and, we have medical professionals that have differing opinions than maybe more holistic medicine people. And we want those currents. We want to have a little bit of friction. We like, when there is a little bit of friction and tension, that's where you can have a little bit of breakthroughs, and maybe where we can, offer some of our best learnings is through people having some different opinions, different expertises around core subjects that we get them to come to the table and collide some of those currents.
Yeah, I love it. So, I think ultimately this is the start of the 2026 Currents of Consciousness, where the future won't be decided by smarter machines, but it will be evolved by conscious humans.
Amen.
So
beautifully said, my man. Welcome back to The Current, and we will see you next time.